Try to keep my head above water, floating but I feel free. Letting go of what has been to welcome what will be. Try to keep my head above water, floating but I feel free. It's just you and me. I am complete. With you, and as we sit here floating this emotion and passing between you and I, it runs deep, it runs wide. This love is flowing like a river. 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 In the morning sunrise, fill my heart and empty my mind, yeah. Circling, swirling, mind has been taking a sweet time debating, losing my patience. Can we take back or go back to one was? Tracing each step, the misstep we cause. Time ticks by, we both slip away. Can move, can't shake, the feeling feels strange. Something is wrong, just stay and move on. Circling, swirling, emotions we're lost. I don't feel like wasting our time. Falling in love takes plenty of time, so let's just rewind. But don't get lost while losing your mind. Believe in love, and love you'll find everything is fine. Come on over here, my dear, fall back in love, I will feel. Just go slow, let the fire burn, let the fire burn, let the fire burn. Oh, come on over here, my dear. I always smile while you are near. Just go slow, let the fire burn low, let the fire burn, let the fire burn low. Wrong, who's right? Forget the time we're wasting. Awkward situations lead to hesitating. Does it feel right? Does it feel wrong? Never could tell whether to tell or not. Cause there's things we're feeling, there's things we're thinking. Maybe we're changing or it's all fading. Can we make up or when we break up? It's hidden sin seem to get us stuck. But now I feel like this is love. So maybe we should just run with it. Don't get in the way of finding your way, cause maybe tomorrow is another day, and everything's okay. Come on over here, my dear, fall back in love and out of fear. Let's go slow, let the fire burn, let the fire burn, let the fire burn. Baby, come on over here, my dear. I always smile while you are near. Just go slow, let the fire burn low, let the fire burn, let the fire burn low, yeah. Let the fire burn low. Next time, won't act so hasty. Next time, won't act so crazy. Sometimes our minds are hazy. Love is what will save me. Come on over here, my my deal. Fall back in love and out of fear. No stress, go slow, let the vibe burn low. Let the vibe burn, let the vibe burn low. Come on over here, my dear. I will smile while you are near. No stress, go slow, let the vibe burn low. Let the vibe burn, let the vibe burn low. Let the fire burn low. Let the fire burn low. Gypsy lady, you're on my mind. Gypsy lady, save me from daylight. 'Cause we're all just wasting time. Gypsy lady, the moon does shine down on what the sun hides from my eyes. 'Cause we're all just wasting time. Yeah, Lord. Gypsy lady, you're all around me. All the world is right inside your eye. Sometimes I feel like maybe we're just running blind. Yeah, Lord. Gypsy lady, why can't we see that this whole world is down on its knees? We take the mother for this fake one we don't need. Yeah, Lord. I remember when we were young, when the whole world was right in front of our feet, and guessing passed us by as we dream. They say you better go with the flow, you better fall in line, you better live your life what's been weighing on my mind. Are we gonna fall in line? Are we gonna fall in line? Are we gonna fall in line? Are we gonna follow our heart? Are we gonna fall in love? Ooh. Listen, don't chase your dreams, 'cause you can't make them into reality. No, you've been little like we say it's best fall in line, do what you're told. I said now I won't go with the flow, I won't fall in line, I can't live my life, it's my right. So listen to me as I have made up my mind, yeah. Are we gonna fall in line? Are we gonna fall in line? Are we gonna fall in line? Are we gonna follow our heart? Are we gonna fall in love? So many times they gonna try to bring us down, tell us where we belong. Stand up and be heard when we say that we're not gonna fall in line. I'm not gonna fall in line, I'm not gonna fall in line. Are we gonna fall in line? Are we gonna fall in line? Are we gonna fall in line? Are we gonna follow our heart? Are we gonna fall in love? This feeling inside of my bones is taking control, and I know what's gonna free my soul. Medicine needed again, medicine, it's creeping in. The love and light and let it in. Sunrise, light in the morning, reveal darkness to me. Cast away your shadow of pain, inside and following me. Welcome a new kind of life, in every breath I feel alive. Sunrise, light in the morning, cleanse my soul, free my mind. High tide love, low tide, just roll with the flow. In this moment we just let love take control. Sometimes we're lost and don't know where we belong. But wherever you go, well, there's love, my friend, you're home. Try to keep my head above water, floating but I feel free. Letting go of what has been to welcome what will be. Try to keep my head above water, floating but I feel free. It's just you and me. I breathe in, soul tearing this warmth in for my soul. All this time we spend debating when something's right or wrong. Time slips through our hands like grains of sand. Sometimes you need to sit back, just unwind, my friend. Oh, love, trying to keep my head above water, floating but I feel free. Letting go of what has been to welcome what will be. Trying to keep my head above water, floating but I feel free. It's just you and me. I am complete. And as we sit here floating this emotion and passing between you and I, it runs deep, it runs wide. This love is flowing like a river. 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 In the morning, sunrise, fill my heart and empty my mind, yeah. And a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. For the righteous man torn in between all the things he sees, for all he believes, using our rights, criticize those not on the side, lead to divide, save for justice unite. They die for their sin or giving in, just sitting after money or after one month. One survive for a right, sacrifice someone can, get lies in our children till there's nothing left. You cannot rely, these words they deceive. The truth is revealed in disbelief, closing the door, knowing for sure it's time we say, what are we fighting for? What are we dying for? What are we lying for? See where we're heading toward. All of this time lived in confusion, just realize sets the line, 'cause they can say, have no fear, just crack a beer. Let's burn the fuck in and chill the fuck out. Celebrate now, you're here, showtime is near. And burn some beers. He's going straight to you, no fucking around. The big buddy's here.
Oh, what's going on, you champions? How are yous? Yeah, it's me. I'm back. It's your B buddy. How are yous all? How are yous? Oh, I'm good. Oh, jeez, I got COVID on Monday, eh? Fuck. Wasn't that a fucking ordeal, my friends? I tell ya. Excuse me, see? I'm coughing already. I knew it was, as soon as I started streaming, I knew I was going to start coughing. Mate, what a fucking ordeal. Yeah, COVID could eat a bag of fucking dicks. That was pretty shit. As you can see, I'm just a picture of good health. I'm sure these aren't helping, but I just needed a bit of fucking... I'm feeling good enough to get a bit of dose of reality back into my life. So I thought, you know what? Oh, stuff it. We're going for it. We've grabbed some beers, mate. I'm going to have one of the buddies jumping on a bit later. We're going to get all that. We'll get that set up on the fly, eh? That's fine. We can get that set up on the fly. But, mate, oh, shit, you not. Oh, excuse me, just let me have a sip. I went to a fucking christening on the Sunday, eh? And it was, I didn't have, I had to drive, you know, so the missus had some drinks, so I only had 2 or 3 beers. And on the way home, I bought 4. And, I sunk those big boys down, and I felt alright, you know? And then, sort of went to bed, and my throat was a bit scratchy. And I woke up on the Monday, and my throat was sore on a level that I could not even describe, mate. Like, I used to smoke bongs like it was going out of fashion, and punch darts like it was even like just no purpose to life. And my throat was sore than knots on a bender, you know. And I'd done a rat test, and mate, that bad boy came back fucking so positive. So quick. Like, I put the drops in, as soon as I got up close there, you could just see a very faint one. Within 2 minutes, mate, that thing was just done. Mate, I'm there, I'm COVID. And mate, that was something else. That was for 2 or 3 days. Hey, there he is. We'll get him in. We'll get all that sorted. You guys can just listen to it for a moment. Hear my phone go in the background, and we'll just get all this stuff sorted. I can't see him. Hopefully he can see me and hear me. I just can't see you, my friend.
Oh, hang on.
Let's see if he's over here. No, you're gonna go to a black screen for a second, people. There you go. Oh, he ended it. He ended it with me. Huh? We'll try again. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Yeah, there he is. Let's get the boy on. Ah. There you go. How you going, buddy?
Good, how are you?
Ah, man, thanks for jumping on. I'm
No
just
dramas, brother.
sitting here telling everyone about my my fucking COVID ordeal that I've had to deal with for the last.
It's a fucking bitch, isn't it?
Fuck, it kicked my ass, bro. For Monday, so I got it Monday. Oh, I must have had it Sunday, and then Monday I done the test Monday morning before I went to work because I felt like dog shit. And yeah, like I put 3 drops in it, like it just made it up to the test area, and the line was bang. You could just see it so faint, and I'm just like, okay, I'm fucking done here. This is it. This is me. I'm done. I'm dead.
Man, I tell you what, when I had it, like...
Hold on. I've got no sound for you here. Hold on.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Where? No.
No?
Oh, no.
What?
I can hear. No.
Is it there?
No, it's there. It's just me being a dickhead.
It's there. Alright, as usual.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, when I had it I got it like the week before Easter. So, my, like the Monday night, like Monday morning, woke up feeling fine. Monday afternoon when I was leaving work, I had a bit of like just the slightest thing in my throat, slightest tickle in
Yeah.
my throat. And I was like, oh yeah, no, it's, you know, whatever. I had a band practice that night, and then by the time I got home from the band practice, I was like, yeah, feeling pretty fucking average. And then Tuesday morning, woke up, I'm like, this is fucking awful. And did the test, tested positive. And yeah, sort of like the late Tuesday through to early Thursday was probably the worst I felt.
Yeah.
It came on like so quick in terms of symptoms, and then, you know, obviously that meant I was home for the week. I was in isolation over the Easter long weekend, and yeah, by the time the Easter long weekend was over, I was, you know, back at work. I was testing negative, still had some very mild sort of like sore throat, bit of congestion and stuff, but it was the better part of a week to, like, it hit really hard, and I just felt fucking awful for like, yeah, the best part of a week. And then it had like, from there, probably like another week after that, before the really mild symptoms that sort of were in that tail end went away. So yeah, it's a bit shit. But yeah, so it sounds like you're on a similar trajectory to me, mate.
Yeah, well, mate, I went
you through the worst of it?
Oh, mate, Monday, my fucking god. Monday during the day, I was cool. Monday night here, as soon as the sun went down, I thought I was gonna fucking die. But like, it was just the hot and cold flushes. Like, I was fevering out so hard, just fevers. I could not eat. Like, I did not eat for 36 hours.
Yeah.
Like, the concept of food inside my stomach was just a non... So I lived off cold and flu tablets, Panadol and Nurofen, and Hydrolite.
Fuck.
And cough medicine for 36 hours.
Yeah.
So it was just like, it was a pill diet. I haven't done that for a while. But, yeah, mate, I'll tell you, Wednesday night. Well, you know what happened? The fevers were fucking with my head that bad. I had to have background noise going. I had to have like like YouTube videos going in the background with just monotonal talking. Music was even too much for the senses. And I was just like, my brain needs to be functioning, like my ears need to be hearing something, otherwise my whole body's going to shut down and I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Like the fevers were just fucking with my head that bad.
Yeah, it's a bit like I had the worst one for me was the body aches, like the headache, severe headache, and just body aches, and just constant lethargy. Just like that was the worst for a few days. And like after, you know, you've got I had like the body aches anyway, but then after a couple of days of kind of really bad coughing and sneezing, and like it's like full body coughing and sneezing. For those who haven't had it, it's like full body stuff. And after a couple of days of that, like my back and ribs and chest was just, every time I cough or sneeze, that was in pain from that. From like every time I had one of those, my whole torso was just like contracting with the coughing and sneezing, that to the point where it made it that much worse to come out of the body ache side of it, because that was just, once the body aches caused by the actual sickness were on the way out, I was sore just from muscle pain from all of that. So, and just constant sleeping. Like I'd be awake for a couple of hours and I'd like nap for an hour, and then I'd be awake for a couple of hours and I'd nap for an hour.
Every 2 hours. Yeah, you just could not get
comfortable. Can't sleep properly.
No.
You can't sleep properly. You can't sleep at night properly because you're sick and you're coughing and sneezing and you can't breathe properly. So, it's fucking awful. And I mean, I got both shots and the booster, so I'd hate to imagine how sick I would have been if I'd not had those, because that was pretty bad. Like that was, in terms of an illness, you know, I've been quite fortunate in my life. Like the worst I've really had is kind of some bad flus. And that was probably about on par with the sickest I've ever felt in my life.
Mate, the only thing I have to compare that to is pneumonia. I've had pneumonia once, and that was just as bad as having fucking pneumonia. Yeah. Disgustingly bad.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, it's just fucking horrid. Absolutely horrid. Really hope I don't have to go through that ever again.
No, well, I went into it with no booster, so I'm going to get it as soon as next one. As soon as I'm able to get it next time, I'm going to get it. Fuck, I'm not copping that again.
I think if you've had COVID, they want you to wait a couple of months before you get the booster.
Well, that's fine.
I think that's the last info I had, but you know, obviously check.
Well, technically, I've had the booster now. You've had your fourth, and
yeah. Well, that's it. Like, I mean, I guess that technically, I think the best immunity that you can get from it is having the 2 vaccines and the booster and having had COVID. But I would never recommend anyone getting COVID intentionally to try and get it, because it's just not worth it.
No, full disclaimer, don't go around licking people's eyeballs and trying to get COVID. It's not a good time.
No, you absolutely don't. Go out and get your fucking shots though, because it's
not just for you, just for the other people around you. Really.
Absolutely. I'm fortunate enough to live alone, so I to have the creature comforts at home, so I was able to just be on my own in my house. I didn't have to like isolate to a room or anything, so that made it a little bit easier on me. But I mean, I got friends that have had it and they got really bad. I mean, both the other guys in the band have had it. They got it after they came down with it after Gymna. Zach came down with it and Corey came down with it not long after. Corey was really bad. I think he was in hospital a couple of nights.
Ooh, damn.
So, yeah, hit him pretty hard. But, we're all good now. But yeah, pretty intense.
Yeah, I was the last one in my entire family to get it. So my kids had it, my wife had it, and I was wrestling with them, sleeping in the same bed as my wife. I didn't isolate. I thought I'm just going to get this over and done with, and I did not get it. I'm actually 3 months out from the whole household getting it. My whole household got it. My mum, my dad, my brother, my nieces, my nephews, everyone but me and my sister-in-law got it. And not to lie, I was feeling a bit cocky and I didn't get the booster, even though it was fucking should have just been a fucking harsh realisation. But it is what it is, and yeah, now I'm fucking got COVID.
Yeah.
But
well,
obviously it doesn't stop you from getting it. It just lessens the
it just lessens the severity of it.
which
Yeah,
I could have dealt with because I could have got some work done this week on.
Like when you get the flu shots, you get the flu shots, they don't guarantee you're not going to get the flu, they just make it less impactful. Different vaccines have different efficacy for different reasons.
Did you get your free flu shot from the Queensland government?
I did get a flu shot. I got mine before they announced they were going to give out the free ones, but my work, because the company I work for deals with a lot of elderly and disability care, they encourage everyone to get it for free. They give you a voucher, and when you cash in the voucher, and that invoices the company to pay for it. So
It's heaps good.
I got it done for free through work.
That's so.
Which is smart. I know they opened them up so early now. It's like the start of April they opened them up. I'm like, I'm not going to get my flu shot at the start of April. Like, I want to get it in May, when we're coming closer to that flu season,
100%. Well, our employee does the same thing. They hire a nurse to come out and just jab everyone at work that wants one. You sign up and you get it all done on the same day.
Do we have the same fucking chair?
Nah.
No.
Mine's the Aldi ripoff.
Oh, okay, right.
Mine's just got a nice little cushion.
Yeah, I've got one somewhere. I don't like using it. I find it makes me sitting with my head fucking.
I already sit with my head forward. It just supports me back a little bit more.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see? You know what? Did you hear about fucking Ray Liotta today?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, it's scary, dude.
67 years old. It's actually after COVID, I've done something is wrong with this side of my ear, nose, and throat. I've done something. I'm going to the doctors. I'm going to get a health check. I'm gonna go get the massive wake up call I need. You fucked me, buddy. You just sort your life out.
Well, that's it. I joke with some of my friends. I'm like, because I've been, overweight and eating unhealthy food for so much of my life, and I'm not the healthiest person even, when I'm trying to get back in shape a little bit. I'm, very, very inactive, eat a lot of shit food. I'm probably going to cark it in my late 50s, early 60s. It's just how it's going to be, because I've not lived a particularly healthy life in that regard. So, probably worn out a lot of my stuff, but it is, I joke about that, but it is scary to see, anyone really just going at an age, because 67's, a long time ago that would have been considered quite old. Now
that was the national fucking death age.
Not that old.
It's not. But in saying that though, what do you want? Do you want a good time or do you want a long time?
That's it.
That's what it really boils down to at the end of the day, doesn't it?
If I do end up living till 90, but those last 20 years are gonna be as an invalid or having to live in a hospital bed the whole time, for me personally, that's not probably something I'd want for myself. So
nah, man, I completely agree. I speak about this with my wife regularly and stuff like that, because my wife's a nurse. She's a very loving person and shit like that. She's awesome lady, Miss Beerbuddy. But one thing that got me is I don't want to get to that stage, because at what point does it become you're keeping them around because you don't want them to go?
Yeah.
Or are you keeping them around because they don't want to go? Because fuck me dead, man, I'm pretty sure if you could ask that fucking invalid that's sitting there getting fed Woody's fed in that fucking home, seeing no one on the regular, pretty sure I know where I'd want to be, and I wouldn't want to be kicking around fucking, unless it was one of them dirty ones that was like grabbing nurses' asses and didn't care, and you know what I mean? Like that's a different story.
Oh, fucking hell, mate.
Well, I know it's not PC, but I'm okay. If I make it to my 90s, well, fuck, I don't care.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
What? Like, I'm old. It's not me. It's like future me, 97-year-old.
It's not me. It's future me. Yeah.
At the moment, I do play grab ass with a nurse. It's just my wife's a nurse, so that's just.
Yeah. Okay. That makes it okay then. Oh, hey, you want to check out this the latest bass I got?
You got a new toy?
Got a new bass, yeah.
Oh, show.
Now, before you see it and like lose your fucking, flip your hat over it, it's not a real one. It's a copy.
Oh. Oh, you. Ooh. Wow.
Yep.
Which one's that the copy of?
This is a copy of the Rickenbacker.
So that's the Rickenbacker is what a PhD bass player plays with.
So this is a 1974, actual 1974 Aria Pro 2. Basically, in the 70s, when Rickenbackers were like, kind of the top tier. I mean, I guess they still are in a lot of ways, given their price tag. A lot of companies started making rip-offs. They started making knockoffs. And, Rickenbacker got very protective of their IP. So they started suing everybody. Everybody and anybody that was even slightly connected with it, they would sue them into the ground. And so that happened in the, if I'm not mistaken, in the late 70s. They started doing that. So basically, these Aria Pro 2 knockoffs, they basically exist up the, they stopped making them as of the late 70s, right? So, and people, like if people are selling a knockoff online, Rickenbacker tries to get it taken down. It's really hard to find these things.
How did you acquire this piece of...
I got lucky. I found someone selling one on Facebook Marketplace. They were open to a trade. What they were looking to trade for was something that I had and wasn't really using. So I went down, tried it out. They tried my one out, and we had a deal. Because he actually has two of those. He had this one, and he had a 1977 one as well.
So that would have been one of the last editions that came out before.
Yeah. And he's like, the 1977 one's in slightly better condition. That's the one he prefers to play, and he doesn't see any point having two of the same thing. So yeah, he was looking to swap it for like a Fender Precision. I've got American-made Fender Precision, and I did have a Mexican-made Fender Precision. Value-wise, they're roughly the same on the used market. For what they were, and this guy, the Precision is what this guy was after as well. So I kind of went, well, I've got the American-made Precision. I don't really need the Mexican-made Precision. I'm not using it as much as I thought I was going to. So I may as well, get that one. And yeah, okay, I know it's not an actual Rickenbacker, but what I've seen of the talk about them is divided. Some people go, oh no, they're cheap knockoffs, they're not worth it. Some people find that they prefer the feel and sound of this particular brand of knockoffs. So I was like, you know what? I went down, I tried it out. It sounded really good, and I liked the feel of it. So yeah, went through and got a hold of it.
Fuck yeah, man! It's a nice bit of kit. Show it again.
It is.
Show it again.
It is.
Show that one for Timmy, because Timmy loves a.
It's officially the oldest piece of musical equipment I've ever owned as well. It's coming up on 50 years old, which is
That looks
pretty
amazing.
fucking
How does
crazy.
it sound?
It's very aggressive.
Well, that's
Very
what you want,
aggressive.
especially considering
Much-
you do the 3-piece stuff.
It's,
Like, you really
yeah.
want...
So I put it. It is actually sound-wise, it's very hot. Quite similar to the Fender Precision.
Well, they'd
like
have to
swap
be
for
those
it.
70 styles.
It's very. The signal comes out of that thing so hot, and like the one I run normally, you know, my live rig, obviously, as you know, I use the Fender Jazz, which is a lot smoother, but I have, you know, my board set up for just a little bit of drive with the signal from the Jazz. But when I run like the Fender Precision or that thing through it, it's far more driven sound, like, because it's just got much more of a hot signal going into the start of the rig in the first place. So
there you go. Timmy jumped in straight away. Timmy's already jumped in. I do love a rig.
Yeah, so it's so that's the new one I got. I'm gonna try and use it on these couple of shows that we got coming up. We'll see how I'm going with it, and then once I've done that, you know, we're taking a little bit of a break for. I think we're going to take a little bit of a break to write some material, so I'll probably put it in for a service when we're doing that. Just to get it professionally serviced, because, you know, I can take care of my instruments most of the time, but that needs us probably a bit more attention than I can give it in terms of.
You want to find out if there's anything wrong with it too.
Exactly.
That's the other thing.
You know,
if you take it to a professional, you're going to get that little bit extra.
Yeah, I think the neck might need to be
truss rod adjustment
reset in it a little better, and I think it might need. There's a bit of fret buzz in a couple of spots, but I'm not entirely sure if that's just from the angling on the neck or
gauge of the strings.
If the frets need leveling. Well, the other thing is too, the guy that had it before me had it strung up with some quite thick strings because he's down tuned. So the nut's going to need replacing on it because the strings are quite loose in the slots on that. You know, there's going to be a few things that needs doing with it to bring it up to speed, but it plays quite nicely. The neck feels, in terms of this, you know, how comfortable the neck is to play on, it's pretty good. You know, I'm going to try and get that classic cover to go over the treble pickup, sorry, to get that real, you know, that much more classic Rickenbacker look. But yeah, quite happy with it overall. Actually.
I can't wait to hear you record with it. There's something about those old school.
Whether we record with it or not, I'm not entirely sure yet. It's definitely going to be part of my live rig.
Ooh, okay.
But I'm not sure about recording with it just yet, because I like to try and have consistency across all of the tracks in terms of the instrument I'm using.
Yeah, you never know. That might turn into your new recording base. It might just sound that good.
We'll see how we go. I'll try a couple of different ones. Like I said, I got the American-made Fender Precision.
That's true.
I've got the Jazz there. Which I use for a lot of our stuff live, so I might give that a go. But I'll give this one a go. But I think if I'm going to, I think for recording it'll either be the Jazz or the Precision.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Do it.
Yeah.
Here's another one for you. This one fucking spun me out, bro. And I've hit them up, and I'd like for them to hit me up back. Sunk Lodo, bro. What did you think of that fucking call? Did you see that coming?
I did not. I mean, look, I'll be honest, they're a band that I know the name, obviously, but they're not a band I ever listened to a whole lot of back in the day. I know they had a fair bit of influence.
Well, they were like the new metal kids of Sydney, man. Oh, sorry, not Sydney, just like Australia, Queensland, Queenslanders.
Yeah, but I know that they were sort of a big deal. You know, back in the day.
Yeah, I'm 90% sure they happened for Corn one year.
So
almost 100% sure.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's cool to see that kind of revival. I mean, I know there's, like, you know, I've said it to you before, and I think anyone who's paying attention to what is going on in terms of the bands that are starting to come about and start get out there and gigging. There's definitely a like a 90s / early 2000s kind of revival going on at the moment in terms of what's coming around and in terms of popularity as well, because so many of the bands that are coming out and making noise up here, you know, they've got a lot of that classic kind of vibe to them, that 90s energy, early 2000s energy.
Works out well for you, my friend.
It does.
Let's let the die. Works out very well for you, my friend.
You were at Gymna, man. Like you saw what's on offer, and most of those bands are Queensland bands.
Oh yeah, the whole Queensland rock punk fucking scene. You're in a league of your own, man. To be fair, I've never tiptoed into the rock or punk scene in Sydney. But yeah, you're in a fucking, like, from what I saw at Gymna, you're in a league of your own.
Yeah, man. It's fucking stoked. And I mean, you know, with Moondoll coming up as well, that's got me really excited because
on my birthday,
there's so many. Well, you know, there's so many bands that. I mean, some of the bands did play on Gymna as well. Like we played Gymna. Some of the other bands that played on Gymna as well. But
then you got Taylor.
Yeah, we've got like Tailor-Made Rejects, and then there's, you know, some bigger bands as well showing up on there, like Frankenbox on there.
Yeah, I saw that.
We've got Chaoses coming across from New Zealand. Those guys are fucking mental. Amazing show. Really, really interesting stuff that they're doing as well. So I'm really hyped for that one. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Dude, that is good. That's on my birthday. Isn't that Moondog the 30th of July?
No, Moondoll Festival. That's the 4th of June.
4th of June. There's one on the 30th of July. Oh no, it's a vamped up one.
Yeah, no, the vamped up one is 30th. That one, we're not playing that, but I think we're definitely going to try and go. Because that'll be awesome to see people there that we haven't seen for a while.
Yeah, we'll drag Adam along.
Yeah, man. We're going to drag as many people as we can to that, because, I mean, obviously, you know, old mates in Nouveau playing that one.
Oh, dude, that's going to be one hell of a party. Oh, catching up with Barnesy, far out, man.
Yeah, that's going to be really, really fun. And, you know, we got our Skunk Bone birthday bash show lined up for, when's that one? That's Friday the 17th of June at King Lear's Throne. That's going to be awesome. We're doing a little celebration there, 1 year of Skunk Bone. That'll be 1 year since we launched the first single, Endoscopy, and sort of went, you know, sort of unleashed all of our stuff to the world. Obviously, Skunk Bones existed as an entity prior to that, but we released the first stuff out to the world then, which was pretty fun. And it's also like, it's the day after my birthday. It's like 5 days after Zach's birthday, so
that's gonna be a fucking great time.
Yeah, I think we're getting hotel in the city for that one, so we don't have to travel back afterwards, because we wanna cut loose a bit.
Why not?
So
why not?
That'll be really fun though. We got, again, we asked Tailor-Made to play that one because we're such, you know, we love playing with those dudes.
Those boys.
They always have a lot of fun.
Mate, those boys, I love them blokes. Love them
Absolutely.
blokes. I was playing them today with the kids, and my son fucking loves them.
Yeah.
Boy gets right into it.
Yeah, they're so entertaining, so much energy.
And nice guys to boot.
They are. They're so nice. I mean, like ever since we played that first show with them, it's just been like, you know, just been fucking locked together, you know. Yeah, always down to do shit together. We got Trip Sitter for that one too, which is gonna be a lot of fun. God. They're so good. They're so good. And then we got headlining the show, because we were, you know, we could look at headlining it, but we wanted to try and get a headliner that's got a bit, you know, that we wanted to see again as well. So we teed up Regular Gonzalez to headline the show.
Nice.
They just bring so much energy and put on a massive show all the time, and every time I see them, they blow me away.
Yeah, awesome. So you guys going booking shows now, eh?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of the venues up here, you know, there's a lot of the smaller venues, especially, they're very open to that. Rather than them going, hey, you know, I mean, there have been some where they're like, hey, we got this show and there's been an opening on it. Do you want to play it? But then there's also been ones where venues have come to us, or we've approached venues and they're like, yeah, this date is available. Do you want to play it? And we'll go, yep, cool. And they go, all right, cool. Find whoever you want to play with. And then we just, you know, hit up the bands and sort it out. But yeah, this birthday one, we wanted to be in control of that because we wanted to get the bands on the So,
mate,
so, yeah.
did you have to go through all that rigmarole of insurance and doing it like as a promoter and shit like that? And...
No, the venues cover us all under that.
Oh, that's mad.
They've obviously, the venues have got all their own stuff for that. So we, they're technically the promoters for it as well. But
so they just went, you just went to them and just sort of went, hey, we want to organise these bands plus us, and they were just like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do the night.
Yeah. Exactly. We originally wanted to try and have it at a different venue that has free entry. You know, because we felt, you know, being like a bit of a birthday thing for some of us, we're like, come and celebrate with us. We wanted it to be free for people to come to the show. We wanted that, but unfortunately, the venue that we wanted to do that at, when we spoke to them, it was like, I think it was March that I hit them up about it, early March, about this show in June, and they're like, sorry, we're booked until September. So yeah, they were booked up, unfortunately. So we had to go with King Lear's Throne, which is still an awesome venue to play at. It's still going to be a lot of fun, but it does unfortunately mean there has to be a ticket cost for the show. But you know, it's like, I mean, if you go to our Facebook page, Skunkbone, it's, you know, you got the ticket link there. It's like $15 to buy it ahead of time. It'd be $20 on the door. So if you are going to come, buy them ahead of time.
Save yourself $5, champions.
Yeah, and you know, we'll just come along, have a great old time. You know, we want to party, we want to celebrate with people that, you know, with people and bands that we appreciate and that we love, and it's gonna be a grand old time, I think.
And I reckon after your little gymnast stint and the family that you make out there, have you guys been finding after Gymna that your shows have been a bit like, how many have you guys done any shows after Gymna?
No, we haven't.
So the first run will be the Moondog Festival.
Yeah, because Moondog, I mean, similar with Gymna, they've got, you know, Gymna was like no shows in like a month before, which is understandable. It's a festival. You want to try and, you know, you don't want to saturate your market. Moondog is the same. Moondog has the same thing, and being that it's like
another festival.
It's like 5 weeks after, you know, after Gymna, there was no point. Yeah, there was no point in us trying to squeeze in another show before then. So we did Gymna, and then we just lay low for the 5 weeks. Then we do Moondog and the birthday show a couple of weeks later, and then we're kind of out for a few months. You know, when we're not really playing much after that, we don't have anything locked in. So if you've been wanting to come and see us, this is the time. You know, if you don't want Moondog's got great value. It's a huge lineup, but if you're not really keen on an all-day kind of deal, then King Lear's Throne, Friday the 17th of June, that's the one to be at, because that's going to be a hell of a party.
Mate, and I've seen these guys before. I gave you little snippets in the Gymna video. You should go watch that. They're fucking mad. You will not be disappointed. Have I ever disappointed you? Probably, but hey, this time I won't. Promise. Ivan, what's cracking, bro? Ivan, my friend, how are you? Ivan is just a champion. Ivan comes on every time I stream. He's such a nice guy.
Legend.
He's the best, bro. He's the best. Loyal customer, loyal fan. I'm trying to get out to that show. It's my daughter's birthday party next Saturday. So I'm trying. We're going to try go to a show in the Lansdowne.
Ooh, nice.
It's still going. I really want to go. I just got to try and convince Mrs. Beer Buddy.
So, did it reopen?
So, from what I heard, it reopened and then it's been sold off again. Right? And then it's been sold off to be turned into a backpackers.
Ugh.
Yeah. Whether or not that's still happening is to be seen. But that's why I really want to get out of this show, because it's going to be a fucking mad band. Dream is Crime. Dream is Crime next I think it's next Saturday, 4th of June at the Lansdowne. It'll be fucking mad. Yeah, I'm still going to try and get out of that one. Because, yeah, I'd like to see Dream is Crime. But it's my daughter's birthday party. So, 7:30, if they're opening, it's going to be a fucking tight squeeze.
You'll make it work.
I will. I've got to get out there and film. That's what I need to do again. I need to get back out on the streets and see the people again. Because Jim Nah just fucking...
Well, that's it. It's been hard, It's been hard to get out there and see stuff. And I think now that... Even like the first few months of this year when COVID numbers were kind of... had a bit of a spike and then started to come back down again. Even it really only just now is it starting to feel like things are more back to normal, or as close to normal as they have been for a long time. It's taking just a long time for everything to recover. So,
oh man, the most normal I felt in 2 years was in the last 2.5, 3 years has been a Jim Nah.
Yeah.
Nobody gave a fuck. It was fucking great.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I'll definitely, if we're invited back next year, I'll almost certainly camp.
You come with me. Even if Skunkbone aren't playing, you come with me. You can help me out.
At least one night,
Come help me.
We'll try. Yeah, but we'll make some shit happen with it. I think I'll definitely, because it looks like it was a lot of fun, and it'll just make it a bit. I think it'll make it a bit easier than, having to get up early and drive out there and do that. At least if I'm camping, I can go out. I can set up a thing and. Yeah,
man, it was good. Yeah. Next year, I think that I have a feeling next year Karen might sell out.
You think so?
Yeah, I reckon next year she'll sell out. I reckon with all the promo work that's been done this year from a handful of people and the videos and stuff like that, people would be stupid not to go. For such a small event of only 1,500 people that are allowed through the door and stuff like that. It's just perfect.
Well, it was, apparently there was a big surge, a big rush on tickets right near the tail end of things, which was awesome to see. It looked pretty full, man. From what I was saying, it looked pretty full.
It was.
I wouldn't.
I don't want to get any bigger.
Oh yeah, I don't know how many more tents or campers they're going to be able to fit on that site.
Oh no, what it is, they have a separate site. So you get, I think it's like 700 campers that you can fit in the site there, and then the rest of them are off in another part, and then you walk down the next day.
That's all right.
It's either that or they just open up that bottom part on the field. Where the bonfire is, and just turn that into the band. You move all the bands down there onto that part, and it opens up all that extra room for punters.
Yeah, all that extra room up the top. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, that's all you do. Shove all the bands down near the big bonfire. Punters stay up near the fucking top, and that'll be
that one's. I definitely think next year there's going to be much more interest in tickets. It was a really, really, really good event this year, and.
I think bands will find it much easier next year. Because there's a lot more. It'll be like, I watch Jim Nah like. Well, okay, fair enough. Here's a whole bunch of YouTube stuff. Go see what Jim Nah's like.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people will return as well. I think that was a big part of it. There was, I would suspect, quite a few people there that had attended the year prior, and now, obviously a lot of them came back, and a lot of new people went. I think a lot of those new people are going to come back again next year.
Mm-hmm. And anyone that missed out sucked in. Better luck next year, because tickets are going to be hard to get. Yeah,
it's well worth going if you get the opportunity. If it runs next year, do yourself a favor and definitely make a point to get there. Whether you're from Brisbane, whether you're going to come up from Sydney or from somewhere interstate, make a point of checking it out because it's a lot of fun.
It is, Brittany. Brittany's right. It's only going to get better and better. It is. 100%.
Absolutely is. Absolutely, it's only going to get better and better.
All right. So I got another interesting one for you. So on the way up to Jimna,
Yep.
while I was on the plane with Timmy, you know, obviously the topic of COVID comes up because we've got the kids and it's just constantly around our lives with school and fucking work and what we do and shit like that. And
Yep.
I said to him, on the way up there, I said, the big factor here, and especially for the music we listen to, I guess music in general, just musicians in general, I really shouldn't segregate this to anything, it's just musicians in general. And Stephen Carpenter has now been the first one to throw down the hammer on it, and fucking so much respect to him. And I said to Timmy on the way up, I said, there's going to be a big shift now with bands and musicians and stuff like that, with countries and their COVID rules. For example, like you have to have your shots to come into the country, you have to have your vaccinations and shit like that. Now, we all know that amongst all us musicians and stuff like that, that we do associate with a lot of conspiracy theorists and shit like that, and it sort of comes in hand with rights of choices on what you should be able to put into your body and what you shouldn't have to put into your body. But it also comes down to the whole point of countries having the right to let in people, whether you've had those shots or have or had not or whatever. Not really here to politicise it or anything like that, but it's finally happened. Stephen Carpenter has officially announced that he shall not be touring internationally for the moment. So the guitarist for the Deftones, who's personally one of my favourite guitarists ever, other than fucking Brian Head Welsh from Korn. Those probably, for me in my era, those are my top two favourite guitarists. But Stephen Carpenter is just a fucking genius. The guy's a musical fucking genius. Despite him being a flat earther and shit like that, the guy's a fucking genius. And he's officially announced that he will not be touring internationally for the foreseeable future, until I guess shit changes for him. And they found their new guitarist that has obviously had all their vaccinations. The rest of the band has had their vaccinations and shall be touring the world. How many other bands do you reckon this is going to happen to? How many other members do you reckon we're going to have to miss out on? Because I reckon it's going to be a thing that is absolutely rife throughout fucking the music community.
I mean, look, I know people in bands up here that are...
That's right to choose at the end of the day.
Refusing to get it. And I look at it as, from my perspective, obviously I've had the shots. I am a firm believer that if the overwhelming majority of the science is saying X, Y, Z, then as a person who is not as educated in these things as scientists, the community that's done all this research, and by research I mean research, lab tests,
you're not sitting on the shit of scrolling through Facebook,
not sitting on Google or anything, but the people that there's thousands and thousands of teams of scientists across the world have done this science, they've done the tests, they've done the research, and they're saying, X, Y, Z, vaccines are safe. Then me as a layperson, I look at it and say, right, well, I can only make the best the decision that I can make now with the best information I have available right now. Does that mean that I'm not worried about potential long-term side effects? No.
No, fuck
okay?
no.
There's always, anytime you take any kind of medication, there is always the worry about potential long-term side effects. What I will say is that while this is the first major rollout from my understanding, this is the first major rollout of a vaccine that used the mRNA technology.
Yep.
But it hasn't conveniently come up out of nowhere. It's mRNA technology has been researched in something that the vaccine scientific community has been developing and working on for a long time.
Oh shit, yeah, it has.
And as a society, we are very fortunate that it more or less came to fruition at the right time when we needed it. And I think part of that is, people say, oh, vaccines normally take a long time to research and develop and test. That's correct. But a large part of that is funding, getting approval for funding, getting approval for tests. When there's a global pandemic and
unlimited cash,
money is no object, and approval for tests is like, you want a test? Here, we'll give you all the money in the world to test. Just give us the fucking solution. Those time frames are drastically short.
Oh shit, yeah, fucking oath.
As with most things, pretty much any vaccine that's going to have an adverse reaction, it's going to be either immediate or within the first few months. So, and it, a whole fucking suite of reasons that I'm not, I don't have the time to go into everything here, but basically the short version is the people that know and understand the shit went, all right, this is everything where it's pointing to, this is what the research is pointing to, this is what we recommend. And, I went, okay, now I have to make a choice. The rules say I can, if I want to go and do certain things or go into certain places, I have to have the vaccine. So, I'm a musician. If I want to be able to go and play venues, I have to have the vaccine. Some venues are just not going to let me in if I don't.
And it's their fucking right to do so. They are a private fucking business and they had every right to do so.
Well, the thing is, it's, a lot of it wasn't even their choice. It was, that was the government saying, okay, then pubs, clubs, music venues, they can only allow in vaccine.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not I agree with that is a separate issue. Personally, I feel that, it should have been up to the choice of the venue on that.
Yeah.
However, it is what it is. And the funny thing is, I see a lot of people that want to argue that, oh, we don't know the long-term effects, we don't know what's in it. Well, most of the people that I have spoken to, at least in person, who have said that, are saying it between drags on a cigarette.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a calculated risk, man.
And so that's not, if people can smoke if they want to smoke. I'm not going to say they shouldn't smoke or they can't smoke, but all I'm saying is, if you're going to sit there and be dragging on a cigarette,
don't talk about adverse effects,
which we know as long-term adverse effects, then you're going to sit there and tell me that, oh, well, this vaccine, out of all the vaccines that have ever been developed and put out for wider public use, the amount that have had out of the blue, out of nowhere, like decades down the line, they've suddenly had major adverse effects for a large part of the population, the number is 0.
Well, man, if you want any more proof that vaccines work, I'll put it to you in numbers. All right, and this is the way I try to explain it to people. Okay, and it's a really, really weird explanation, but we'll see how we go. So vaccines were a full-on thing, say come the 50s and 60s, 1950s, 1960s. You know what I mean? They were like a real standard thing. You go out, you get them. Do you know what I mean? What people don't seem to understand in this day and age is, back in the day, we used to have these things called quarantine centres. Yeah? We actually have one in Manly that you can go and do a little ghost tour in, right? And back in the day, you used to have to go into these things called quarantine centres for 2 fucking weeks, where doctors would sit there and test you, and then if you had nothing wrong with you, you're allowed to go out into fucking Sydney. That's a fact. That is a fucking fact. You can go to the fucking quarantine centre in Manly. It is a fucking stock standard thing. Now, do you know why they got rid of quarantine centres? Because everyone started to get fucking vaccinated, yeah? Everyone's vaccinated, you don't need to quarantine people when they enter the country. It's like if you're watching Follow, because it fucking frustrates me that, the vaccination statuses were never a fucking... Yes, they fucking were. They fucking were. That's why we had quarantine centres. You used to have little things that used to say if you were rich and you could get all your shots, you could come straight into the fucking country and you didn't have to go left with all the fucking people with smallpox and shit and go die and fucking sit there and hope that you fucking survived. That's first. Right? So, 1950s, 1960s happen. The Earth's population, when vaccines roughly hit, 3.5 billion. Alright? In 1960, the Earth's population was 3.5 billion. Now, if we're going to take into account the fact that we're not going to say the Earth, that from BC or up until 0, Christ was born. Yeah, so Christ was born 0. Up until 1960, we only managed to amass the world's population at 3.5 billion people. The year now is 2022. We have 7.6 billion people on this planet. In 70 years, we have literally 110%ed the Earth's population. All because people aren't fucking dying from frivolous fucking diseases due to vaccine. Simple as fucking that. If you want that put in numbers, go fucking look it up. Go have a look at what the Earth's fucking population was in fucking 1960. 1950 years. In 70 years, we put 3.5 billion people on this planet. It's fucking unsustainable.
Yeah, and I mean, to circle back to your original question as well, do I think we're going to see more musicians, at an international level saying, I'm not going to travel, I'm not going to do tours to these countries because, they're not going to allow me in if I'm not vaccinated, right? Already countries that you can't go to if you're not vaccinated for certain other things, right? You want to go to certain African or Asian countries, some of them will require vaccinations against things like yellow fever. So countries saying we're not going to let you in unless you've been vaccinated against COVID, it's not that surprising.
It's nothing new.
But, so look, at the end of the day, if musicians want to make that decision for themselves, that is their decision. They can wear the consequences of those decisions. Just as I have chosen to get the vaccine, and if I get, I had side effects after I've had the booster shot.
That's a consequence of the choice.
I was pretty shit for a couple of days. That's a consequence of the choice. All you can do is treat it the same way you can treat any other decision in life, which is to look at all the information available and make what you think is the best decision in that scenario. What their bands choose to do, as you indicated, I mean, the Deftones have found someone else to do the tours. That's their decision to make as well. I would imagine that, I'm not too across the situation myself, but I would imagine if the band has found a replacement guitarist for tours, that he's said, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, Stephen Carpenter announced it.
Given them the okay to do it, that's fine. So, all good. If they're all good, sweet, then that's fine. I guess what I do want to say is what I'd like to say about a lot of these conspiracy theories around this stuff. And, I understand that not everyone that is hesitant to get the vaccine I don't think everyone that's hesitant or has questions around it is a mad conspiracy theorist. No. I don't think they're all crazy, but I have had people say to me or share stuff with me that is pretty out there. And, none of it backed up by any evidence. It's all just claims and people, asking questions without providing any you know, anything to back it up, or as to why they're not actually accepting, you know, what 99% of the world's accepting. But one of the claims I have seen is, oh, you know, they want to. It's you know, everyone who's had the vaccine, you know, is going to die within 5 years because it's going to change their DNA and they're going to die within 5 years. And all I have to say to claims like that is, you know, if you think that the government wants to try and trick you into doing something, wants to trick as much of the population as they can into doing something that is going to kill themselves, what's the end goal?
Exactly, we're assets to the
And
government.
no one's been able to give me an answer to that question, because if the goal is that we want to, you know, invent this pandemic or fake a pandemic or release a disease that people need to get vaccinated against or whatever, to try and so that people will take this vaccine so that they'll die in 5 years' time. What's the goal? What's the aim? What's the benefit or the outcome to that?
We don't know. We'll be dead.
Because they're all. Think about it. Think about it. Right? If that's what the goal is, of the government or the Illuminati or whoever's behind whatever, right? Whoever they think is behind it. If that's true, then the only people that are going to be left are the people that are resisting.
Yeah.
What good is that going to be to whatever power is behind this?
Yeah, if anything, they've set up. If anything, they're thinking
connect
about it
the
all
dots.
backwards. They're thinking about it all backwards. What
Yeah.
they should be thinking
What?
is that they're giving everyone that's willing to take it because they're going to sit there and be good to the government. And in 5 years' time, if you haven't had the vaccination, they're going to release some fucking neuron gas that reacts to people that haven't fucking had it.
If you're going to believe in a conspiracy theory, that at least makes a lot more sense.
Well, do you want to know what my actual conspiracy theory?
People, you know, you do something like the pandemic to get people to take the vaccine. So you go, righto, okay, we know these people are going to take the vaccine. They're likely to be compliant with stuff. Then you go, oh, okay, you need a booster. So you give people this booster that really protects them from some other thing that you're going to drop later. And then when you drop that thing later, the people that have had the vaccines and the boosters, they're fine with this other thing. And all the people that would be fighting and resisting against you haven't had it. So they're the ones that get killed off by it.
Makes more sense.
That makes more sense.
That makes so much more sense.
That makes way more sense than, you know, oh, they wanted people to take the vaccine because then they're going to die. Like,
No, see, that does make sense. My whole thing of it is when it came out and it was so selective. And you know how that was obviously in the world that we live in now with constant news reporting and stuff like that. And it just never goes away. And you're constantly getting new updates and new information and stuff like that. They're going, oh, only elderly people are going to die from this and stuff like that. And it's taken out so much of I think it was Italy first, where it really hit hard, and it took out like so much of their age population over there in Greece and shit like that. And I'm just like, are they trying to fucking... my first thought was, are they trying to get rid of all the fucking old people to sort of like stop paying pensions and like, what are they doing here? What are they up to? Like, but then I don't know, like it's just. But then I sat there and thought about it. I'm like, man, this information's just coming in every 30 minutes. So just like, just wait every second day, and just get the most updated shit.
Yeah, I very rarely engage in like the 24-hour constant news cycle.
Yeah, I couldn't help it.
I try to, you know, if I am like, if it's like a local event or something that's specifically going to affect me or loved ones in like an immediate situation, then yes, I do try and stay on top of it. But if it's something that's happening across the world with no immediate impact on me, or something that's more of a long-term situation, such as the pandemic, you can't stay in that 24-hour news cycle, not for very long.
I've been obsessing over that last school shooting in America.
it's
It fucking just boggles my brain, man, that an 18-year-old can just fucking do that.
it's
Roll it.
so it's so difficult for me. This is going to sound horrible. This is going to sound really, really horrible. I have had to force myself to stop caring about those
Well, they're not
because
going to do anything about it.
because I because I, it's so frequent that if I allowed myself to feel the upset and the anger and the outrage every single time, it would consume my life.
No, I feel that. I feel that. Because
Um,
mine,
it's
it just hits
it's
so hard.
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a horrible situation. It is it is horrible, and just to see every single time it happens, it's the same bullshit from the right wing people over there who will say, "Oh, it's not the time to politicize it. It's not the time to talk about, it's no, it's," and they'll say, "Well, we need to put more guns there. We need to arm the teachers. We need to turn schools into they want to turn schools into fucking
Fortresses.
fortresses, having, they want to get retired police officers and fucking army personnel to volunteer basically to fucking be guards at schools."
And they'll get it. After
So,
this,
so
they'll
I'm
get
like,
it.
I just, it literally says, like, they want to, people always go, "Oh, right to bear arms, Second Amendment, Second Amendment." It literally says in the Second Amendment, well regulated.
But they can. You know what?
How's it going to say? How are you going to look? How are people going to seriously say my Second Amendment right to bear arms, and then not even acknowledge the fact, that it literally says well regulated in the fucking thing that they're referencing? Like, it just, yeah, this is why I can't. This is why I can't. I
Oh
can't.
no, fair enough, man. Fair
This is
enough.
why I can't.
Nah, nah,
Like,
dude. Like this is. I knew I could sort of bring it up with you.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Because I know you sort
yeah,
of think along the same, and like Brittany's right. We were talking about this last week, and she was saying that she was at parties and people just hitting drive-bys, and it's just like, oh, you just hit the deck and you don't spill your beer. It's like, how we fall into a pool and it's like, oh, I didn't drop my beer. It's like bullets go through the house, everyone hits the deck, no one's hurt, no one spilled their beer. Okay, let's keep going. And Ivan even says he definitely does agree. I really don't consume news because it affects it affects you way too much. But man, like what got like, and what you say is right. Like it says in their amendment, well regulated, but the meaning of an amendment is that it can be changed.
yeah.
Like you can change it whenever you want. Like it's an amendment.
I think yeah. The thing is, I mean, there's been restrictions in the past. Like they brought in, like I don't even exactly know when, but like many years ago, they did bring in a temporary ban, I think, on like assault weapons or fully automatic weapons or something in terms of that. And you know what happened? Mass shootings went down, murders went down, murders with guns went down. And you know what happened when that ban ended? Straight back up again.
Fuck.
The numbers just went up.
And it was only the week before.
The numbers don't lie.
Oh no, they don't
The numbers don't lie, and no matter how many times, it shouldn't. The fact that it's at the point to me, and this is probably an unpopular opinion, might piss a few people off. I don't know, but I know there's a lot of other people out there that also do feel the same way as me when I say this. Democracy works, I feel, only up to a certain population size. Once you surpass a certain population size, once you get to, and it's not like a hard number or anything, but I think, once a country gets too big, I feel like it becomes impossible for the democratic process to work effectively as intended to properly serve all of the people well enough to keep the country stable.
Yeah, but you also live
And
in a country where it's not like they live in a country where it's not mandatory to vote. So you don't have to vote. So if people that want to
yeah,
vote,
and how, yeah, like, and they don't make it easy. It's not like here, we have an election here. They have it on a weekend to make sure it's available for as many people as possible. They make postal voting available to as many people as possible. They make early voting as available to as many
yeah,
people as possible. Like I voted early the last couple of elections, and you know what questions I've been asked? One, have you voted in this election before today? And two, are you eligible for early voting? They don't, like, that's it. That's the only questions they ask you. And, I've obviously there's very comprehensive checks and cross checks to ensure there's no voter fraud and people aren't voting multiple times. In America, it's like a fucking Tuesday.
yeah,
It's a Tuesday. They don't, so most people are working, and they don't require workplaces to give people the day off to vote, and they make it extremely hard to postal vote or to vote early, and they, mostly the right wants to make it harder
yeah. Because they know
because
that
they
because they
know
know their bosses will give their fucking workers time to go off to all their little.
well they know that and this is they know that the easier they make it to any restrictions on voting requirements or limitations that they put on it disproportionately impact
Minorities.
lower income people and minorities.
Mm-hmm.
And lower income people and minorities are more likely to vote for the left. Those are statistical facts.
100%.
And that's exactly why they want to make it harder. And when people say things like, we need to tax the rich more, people with like $1 or $2 million think that that's talking about them. It's not. It's not. When people say things like that the rich need to be taxed properly, they're talking billionaires.
Yeah.
And when they're talking about companies that need to pay, having to pay their fair share, they're not talking about, the fucking family that runs a business down on the corner. They're not even talking about the family business that started out as one store and now has 10 stores across a couple of different states. They're not talking about that. They're talking about the fucking mega corporations that literally make billions upon billions of dollars by having their official head office be a fucking basement in Europe in some country that has very favorable tax laws.
Yep.
You got companies that are out there, like I believe it was Activision, gaming company, Activision,
Yeah.
has literally received paid less than zero tax. Like the amount of tax credits that they've gotten back to offset stuff that they haven't even paid, they've got paid by the government.
Yeah.
Instead of paying tax.
Yeah. I know what you're saying there. Yep.
Like they need to close these loopholes.
Yes.
These loopholes need to be closed so that companies are paying their fair share of tax and that the mega rich billionaires are paying their fair share of taxes. And they need to fucking tax religions.
Yep. 100%.
You know what they say? Oh, well, really, you can't tax religions. What about all the charity work they do? Charity work is still.
Why claim it back on tax then? Why do they get to claim it back on tax?
Charity work is still a tax deduction. They can still write off the charity work.
Exactly.
But, if you're going to a church and it's at a fucking 10,000 seat arena and the fucking pastor is flying around in his private jet and driving his fucking, $200,000 car, he's not like you're getting fucking conned.
Exactly.
So it's something needs to be done, and far too many people have been convinced to vote against their own interests.
Yeah.
And I can only hope that wherever this is all going, um, it that it ends up in the right place before it's too late.
It is,
And
yeah.
this is why I don't talk about this shit.
Nah,
This is why I don't
man,
talk about it, because I
dude.
get fucking angry.
Dude, no, like I'm glad. It's nice to see that I'm not the only one because yeah, come Monday after I woke up or Tuesday whenever that shooting happened, and I fucking lost it, and I'm just sitting there going, like I almost wanted to go out and make a video on going to get my gun license. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
post it up just to go, whether I get it or not, due to my one or two incidences, very fucking minor in the past,
Mm.
but.
This is what the process is in Australia.
Yeah, like, it's not saying that you cannot have a gun. It's just, we want you to not be fucking like, I don't understand the concept of a country that will not let a person drink until the age of 21, but will let them carry around an AR-15 at the age of 18. That is ass backwards. Let them drink at 18, let them get the gun at 21. If you're going to do it like that.
Yeah.
But Brittany does say like exactly, the USA is headed down towards a pure capitalism profits for over everything. It's fucking very true.
Well, that's it. Like as a kid growing up, in the fucking 90s, I'd look at America and be like, wow, that's so cool. That's so cool. That country's amazing. I want to go and live there one day. When I started getting into music and playing music and everything, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to go and live in America. Like I can make a career in America out of music.
Population, mate, we fucking probably would have got shot.
And now I look at it and I'm just like, it's a fucking hellscape.
I have no, like, after seeing that and then the reaction, I guess, from the government and the thought processes of the people over there, I think other than to eat food, I really don't have a fucking other purpose to go there. Maybe go on some fucking cool rides. Like go to Disneyland or some shit.
Yeah.
But
It's yeah.
it just,
And like that's it. Like I know there's so many amazing people and amazing places over there. And I still want to go back. Like I want to go back. I want to fucking I want to see the places I didn't get to see last time. I want to go and like if money was no object, yeah, I'd want to go there and I'd want to see some of the amazing stuff that the country has to offer. But Jesus Christ.
every time a car would backfire, I would hit the deck in the street. Do you know what I mean? Like they'd take one look at me and go, "Look at this fucking tourist." Do you know what I mean? I'd be like, "Fucking car shitbox to be driving down the street, bang, fuck."
Yeah.
And like Matty's been over there a couple of times. He fucking loves it. My old guitarist Matty P. And he's been over there with the other Matty as well, and they fucking love it. I'm just like, do you just get blind the whole time and just not worry?
The right places are, yeah, like it's there's like everywhere. There's good and bad everywhere, but like you see stuff like that, and it fucking.
Hey man, the one place kids are supposed to be able to come home from is fucking school.
Yeah, like look, the fact that we just had our election last weekend here, and it was such a slide towards independence and the Greens and everything. I was like, that's restored a little bit of my faith in humanity, and then this.
Yeah,
and
humanity's a fickle thing, man.
I'm just.
I mean,
it's hard not to get numb to it, you know?
Well, that's the thing. You see it, and you're just like, oh, again. And then when you hear the numbers, it's the 200 and something mass shooting this year, which is
Yep.
more than one a day. We're only 180 something days into the year, and then 20 like was what 18 children, and you're just like, man, come on.
Yep.
When do you put the value? I understand. I completely get it to some degree. No, I don't completely get it. I shouldn't say that because no one fucking deserves to die.
You know what
If
we
it's an
need?
adult, but fuck, if you could just kids, man. Kids.
You know what we need? We need Rage Against the Machine to come back.
They did, and everybody in America got the. You were raging against this machine the whole time? No, we want this machine. They're like, no, we've been trying to tell you. This is the machine. No, you guys are anti-political.
No, we need them back. We need them not just touring, but we need them back. We need them making new angry music. Because no one made it like them.
No one did. But
No one
the
fits it with
relevance
Yep.
that it still holds.
That's it. It's sad that it's still relevant.
Like, if anything, it's actually more. It's weird, you know how we were talk, like we've said before, that just music works in waves. It just or everything, the whole world works in waves. And who would have thought that 30 years ago now? Mm-hmm. You know, when Rage Against the Machine were, that they'd be back, and now, and even more relevant than what they were back then. What they were speaking about carried through. But you could even say the same about NWA and shit like that, and what they were preaching back in the day with their first couple of albums. And
yep,
it's a fucking scary thought. It's a fucking scary thought. But hey, we're here. We're sitting here on the other side of the country with our awesome gun control laws, and hey, and don't get it twisted. People get shot here all the fucking time. But 20 kids don't get shot up at one fucking time.
All I'll say is, you know,
Hey,
you look at all these other countries across the world that have, you know what's fucking crazy to me? Prior to the Port Arthur massacre here in Australia, I think in the decade prior, there was, I think it was something like 11 mass shootings in the decade prior. So that's already much lower numbers, but
still big for here.
That's not the point I'm making. The point is, after Port Arthur, which was in the 90s, there has been one mass shooting. And while overall gun ownership rates did go down in the wake of the buyback and the change in laws, there is now, I believe, as many or more guns in circulation in Australia as there was prior to that. But the mass shooting numbers have stayed low.
Yep, there you go.
Because there is restrictions on what types of guns you can own.
Ammunition.
And the ammunition and how you have to store them. And, you know, the fact that you need to go through these checks and things before you can get the license to legally own them.
Well, I don't think many people understand that if your kid in Australia, if your kid accidentally gets hold of your firearm and discharges it and manages to hurt anyone or anything, the owner of the gun is the one that gets fully charged, will get sent to jail, will get the book thrown at them. So in Australia, I had a friend that had a gun license. So you have to have a 3-point safe.
Yep.
It has to be bolted to the ground. Your ammunition, your gun cannot be loaded inside the safe. Your ammunition has to be kept inside the safe so it has to be, you got the one big box in its own compartment, completely separated in a completely different lockbox with a different key. One key has to be kept on the person at all time. The other key, I think, has to go to the police. And then the third key that you're allowed to keep has to be stored somewhere in the house. And at any point, the police are allowed to come knock at your door and do a gun safety check. And the first question they'll ask is, oh, do you know where the key is for the gun safe? If it's not the person, the owner answering the door. If that person then turns around and says, yeah, the key for the safe is in that drawer, underneath in that sock, well, guess what? You've just lost your partner's gun, and everything's getting taken off them. Like, it is so, and then you're only allowed to own single round. It can't be semi-automatic. It's got to be, it's lever act. Like, it's a whole fucking rigmarole. But we're safer for it.
There we are.
And you don't need an AR-15 to take down a fucking deer.
Nope.
That's the.
I mean, yeah, and it was, yeah. A lot of people as well want to talk about, oh, I need, defend my home, but then they talk about being a safe and responsible gun owner. I'm like, okay, so you're a safe, responsible gun owner. That means you keep it in the safe, correct? Yes. All right. So if someone breaks into your house, you're going to have time to go and run to the safe and get your gun?
Not in Australia, no, you're not. Hold on a second, just let me go get my keys.
Yeah.
Don't steal too much shit or leave the front door.
And I get that that's not everyone, and I do understand there is a lot of safe and responsible gun owners, but I think any safe and responsible gun owner would support there being, checks and balances.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And, because even a genuinely responsible gun owner, I don't think wants, a mentally ill person to, or just someone who's, got bad intentions to be able to get hold of a gun.
Exactly.
And, I think if they say that they're a responsible gun owner, but then they support, no background checks, no everything, then I would say that they are disingenuous about their statement that they are a responsible gun owner.
Fucking oath. To me personally, though, I'm going to say this, and this is going to piss off a lot of people. It's going to fucking... I've been looking forward to this one, though. This right here. All you know who I'm looking at, you beautiful people. You pro-lifers, you. How much pro-life are you? Are you only pro-life until they... Are you only
No, we're not going down this road.
I fucking am.
I'm not going down this road. I'm not having that. I don't want to get into discussing that.
No. Look, you don't have to discuss it. I'm just going to make the statement, and this is my point.
All right. Well, hang on. If you're going to make the statement, I'm going to go and get some water or something, and you can make the statement. And then when I come back, we can talk about something else. Because I'm done talking about all of.
All right, we'll go. We'll talk about rage. We'll talk about rage and stuff. Yeah.
All right.
But yes, pro-lifers, this is your chance. This is your chance to make a change. Are you pro-life? Do you want to stop people dying? Fucking change your gun laws. Pretty simple. Yeah? Put your money where your mouth is, champions. 18 kids just died. Pretty fucking bad. Put your money where your mouth is. Make some fucking changes. Alright? Because none of that shit should have fucking happened. At fucking all. That's it. We're done. We're done talking about it. Alright? We're going to go talk about some other stuff. I'm struggling here. I know it was probably a bit of a dick call, but yes, it's true. It is very backwards to me that someone that can, just the whole fucking thing. It's all pro-life up until what fucking point. But yes, Ivan, you're right. Fucking the hypocrisy of the whole, when everyone got angry at rage. Yeah, yes, the pro-life, oh my. Yes. Pretty fucking bad. But it is what it is, and unfortunately those poor parents will have to fucking try and go through the rest of their lives without their beautiful children. Breaks my fucking heart and makes me want to cry, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore before I start breaking out in tears. So hopefully Raph comes back. But yeah, we'll get some tunes on. Let's see what's cracking. Let's get some tunes going, eh? Since we got Raph here, We'll put on. Get these boys popping for a bit. But hope you're doing alright out there, people. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so managed to get through COVID. We're sitting pretty. We're looking good. As good as what I fucking can look. But yeah, you know what? I might even jump over and Twitch and play some games after this. I'm not feeling very tired, which is weird. I've got this weird burst of energy. I love streaming. Fuck, it just makes me feel good in my body. Makes me feel good all over. And then the tunes on top of it, just it's great. Yeah, Brittany. Yeah, looks like we've got the second wind. We ain't going to bed. If you got Raph on, you got to have the skunk bang going. But yeah. Hopefully some active change comes over there. That's all we can hope for. I'm not saying take your guns away, just be responsible with them. What's cracking, Bard? I've had my little rant. What's cracking, man? I've had my little rant.
You've had your rant?
I've had me rant. I've had me rant. Jeez. You been playing anything new lately on the Steams, Bud?
So I finally tried Subnautica.
Ooh, do tell. They've released that on fucking Game Pass.
Yeah, no, look, it seems like a solid game. It seems like an enjoyable game for the right people. That's not me. Because
it's fucking hard. It's fuck off hard.
Look, it's hard, but that's not the issue. I have a bit of a phobia when it comes to
the ocean.
Not just like the ocean. Like I can go to the beach and I can go in the water.
Only up to my nips.
But let me put it to you this way, all right? Many years ago, I would have been in early high school, I think. We had a family holiday, went up north to like Airlie Beach, kind of Cairns area. Went out to the Great Barrier Reef.
Oh, fuck.
Part of that. Now there's I think there's a few of these out there, but we went out to this particular one. It was like this pontoon that's right on the edge of the reef, right? So, it's out there. They got like this underwater, viewing platform. You can go under and see all the reef and everything like that. It's all nice. They got this like semi-submersible thing that you get in. It goes like up and down the side of the reef, so you can see all sorts of cool stuff there. You can go scuba diving. You can go snorkeling. You can just lay about in the sun, whatever, right? I was doing some snorkeling off the side of the pontoon. Fucking heads under the water, but kind of looking at the reef, mostly all the colors and the fishes and stuff and all the beautiful clear water and everything. It's amazing. Like, I highly recommend, if you get the opportunity, to actually go out and see it for yourself, because that part's beautiful. But like I said, it was on the edge of the reef. So I looked down and it just, it just keeps going.
No.
And yeah. And literally, like, I looked down and I had what is probably, in hindsight, a minor panic attack. And I don't know if that was the start of the fear or if it just was the fear that was there already. But, like I said, I can go to the beach fine. I can go in the water and things like that. But I and this might be why I enjoy reading some Lovecraftian stuff as well, because the idea that there's like giant ancient old god creatures out there under the ocean somewhere. But I was playing Subnautica and it was fine at first. Once I started getting a bit deeper and there's all sorts of like creepy ass fucking noises that are happening off somewhere and it's getting real dark under there, and I couldn't. It was just like a visceral.
I'm not laughing at you, man. Sorry, I just
no,
because I have the exact same problem.
Because it's not, and that's not like, I know they're like, oh yeah, it's meant to be like beautiful and a little bit scary when you get deeper because there might be some big Leviathan creatures down there or something. But like, no, it was like I had to stop playing.
Fuck.
I flat out had to stop playing because it basically turned into like a fucking horror game, like a fucking horror movie for me that I couldn't handle.
Yep.
So, awesome game for the right people.
Maybe go play Rust.
I highly recommend playing it if you haven't. But if you don't like fucking, if you got a phobia of like the deep ocean water, don't fucking play the game because you're not going to get very far.
Thanks for the advice, bro. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So is that called thalassophobia, Ivan? Is that what it? That's me when I get in deep water in GTA. Oh, okay. I'll tell you my story. As a kid, when I was primary school, maybe like kindergarten, year 1, year 2, year 3, I used to have this recurring dream that I was at the bottom of the ocean and I'd get eaten by a fucking great white. My dad'd get nabbed up right in front of me. I'd get sleep paralysis in my bed, like I could feel myself frozen in the dream, and I couldn't fucking move. And then the last part of the dream was just this fucking great white coming towards me and just nabbing me. And that was like kinder to year 3. It was fucked. It was fucked. It was the worst dream. And we went to Thailand and we did the whole snorkeling thing, and like I was sketchy as fuck. Like up until that point, I hadn't told my wife about my recurring dream until we were sitting on that boat. And we got out there and I'm going, okay, I'm fucking starting to have fucking anxiety here. Like I'm actually starting to freak out. Like,
yeah,
fuck. So I told her and I'm like, okay. Explain the whole story, but I'm like, if you get in the water, I will get it, like, my wife, I'll get in with you, I'll make sure nothing, like, I have to man up, like, best experience of my life, like, we got right in near the rocks and stuff like that, and we were over this nice shallow reef sort of thing. It was awesome, best experience ever. Lo and behold, on the way back, the missus turns, like, when we were going on the boat on the way back, she saw 2 sharks smashing something, didn't tell me. I don't know what they had, but they had something. When we got back, she's like, oh, I saw 2 sharks in the water when we were just jetting off. I'm like, thank you for saving that. So I have a drink in my hand. Because I wouldn't have got through the rest of the day. But then I played fucking Sea of Thieves. Right? You ever played that?
No, I haven't played it. Mainly because I don't have 4 fucking friends to play it with. Oh, well,
but it's crossplay. We should try and break our fear together.
But I don't know. It looks like I think it would be fun, but that I would get over it pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's a grind. It's a fucking grind. I was cool playing it, and then the Kraken came out the water, grabbed me. Threw me into the ocean, and I'm looking at the Kraken, and I freaked out, turned the game off, and fucking that was it, deleted it.
Yeah.
And then I tried to play Maneater. I thought maybe if I am the shark, it might not be so bad. And then you get into the first underwater fight with the crocodile, and just the anxiety was killing me. I'm like, I just want to run away on land, and I can't. The croc's coming to get me. But I didn't know that was like. I'm glad I'm not the only one that gets that into a game, that gets that sort of anxiety from the fucking ocean too. It's nice to have a friend.
Yeah, man. No, it's not. Not something I want to fuck with. But Yeah, I picked up. What else did I pick up? I picked up Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2. Oh no, don't just if you're not going to sit on my lap,
Go away,
no.
cat.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've heard of Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator.
I have.
But they've released the follow-up, which is much better designed. Doesn't you can have many more creatures, like many more things on the screen, and it doesn't lag out nearly as badly. But basically, the idea is you can. I mean, the new one's still like in. I think it's like alpha still, so there's tons that they're going to add to it. But basically, like you can drop into these various terrains, different armies, right, or different creatures. So and it's everything from, like zombies to fucking ancient Roman soldiers to, World War II fucking soldiers to, Chuck Norris or John Wick, or fucking chickens. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's fucking bad.
And you can just throw in all these things, and the idea is that it, will simulate a battle between them. And some of them are meant to be somewhat realistic in terms of the amount of health and the damage they do and things like that. And some of them are just fucking stupid. Like I said, you put Chuck Norris in there, and Chuck Norris has 100 million health points.
So, you could finally answer, like, is Goku stronger than fucking Superman?
If people made, sort of, it's rudimentary, right?
Okay.
It's like,
or Knights of the Round Table and like 100 chickens.
Yeah, or like or the entire U.S. U.S. military force in World War II versus 5 million zombies or something. You know what I mean? Like you can, and it's fun, and you can do some silly things with it. You can make like custom units and stuff as well, so that if there's a unit that you want in there that's not already in the game, you can add something in. But and that's a bit of fun to dabble with and play around with.
I'm gonna fucking download it. It's on the Xbox.
Because the original one was very laggy, but the new one is much like the original one. If you'd have, my gaming PC is, I mean, it's a couple of years old, but it was pretty top of the line when I got it. That would get quite laggy with the original one if I had, like more than about 10,000 units in there. This one, you can do hundreds of thousands and millions of units, and it is fine because it's got much better. The way it renders everything is much smarter. So you can just play around with it, have little bit of fun with it. That one's been a bit enjoyable since I got that in the last few days.
It's mad. I'm gonna fucking download it. I'm gonna fucking download it tonight.
Definitely give it a try. If it's on, if it's on like Game Pass or something, and you can try it without having to.
Yeah, no, it is on Game Pass for free.
Give it a go for sure.
That's mad. Blade Runner, Brittany. Does anyone who was in Blade Runner? Was it Harrison Ford? Isn't that where Harrison Ford fucking raped a robot? I'm sure that's where Harrison Ford raped a robot.
You know what? I've still not seen it.
The original one. The original one's fucking boss, but I'm sure Harrison Ford fucking rapes a robot in that. I'm sure he does.
I know that there's like 4 different endings to the original version of the movie. From like director's cuts to different things, but no, as much of a Ridley Scott fan as I am from like that era, like big fan of his Alien film, but I just never got around to watching Blade Runner. I've got a fucking list, I've got this massive list of classic movies, right? Like I went through, what was it? I went through like all of these best movie ever lists, and I basically came up with the highest ranked movies, the 3 highest ranked movies for every year, pretty much since movies have been a thing. Like going all the way back to like Nosferatu and you know the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and all these like silent films and everything, right? Um, and yeah, I went through and I got, it was probably like 10 different lists. Do you know what I mean? And they were like the top 100, top 200 movies of all time. And I ranked everything and worked out a formula and basically come up with the top 3 movies from every single year. But, and it was like something ended up being like 200 and something movies, I think.
Oh, geez, that's a fucking lot of movies.
Because there's, you know, there's all these classic films that are just like, there's so many of them that you just don't get around to watching them all, right?
Nah.
So I thought, why don't I come up with this list? And, you know, I mean, there's a lot of them, some of them I've seen, a lot of them I haven't. And I keep meaning to work my way, get back and work my way through more of them. But, you know, there's classic stuff on there, right? Like there's The Godfather, there's Star Wars, which I've seen Star Wars, of course. There's, you know, Blade Runner, I'm sure is on there. And there's just all these movies that I'm like, you know what, they're part of the social zeitgeist that a lot of these movies, I only know about them from references that I've seen in other media.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I should go and watch them, you know, and see them for myself.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll give me a better appreciation for cinema.
You ever done that where you watched a movie and you hear the line and you're like, oh, so that's where that cartoon...
Yeah. That's where that's from. You know, so, you know, I've got, like, I think I've got about, I mean, you know, I've been pretty lazy with it, but, you know, I need to get back to trying to collect all the movies. But it's, I think it'd be really good. I think it'd be, you know, enriching in terms of, like, broadening my cultural knowledge a little bit.
See the girl with the dragon tattoo, the original ones, the Norwegian ones, or the German or Norwegian or something like that. They're fucking great. Girl with the dragon tattoo, very good. All in subtitles.
I think some of them are so long though. Like fuck, it was.
Well, the
Unforgiven is one of the ones on the list, and it's it's like a western, and fuck, that's long. Like it's nearing 3 hours, I think.
They did that back then.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Some movies were they was the thing. The 90-minute standard was not like originally. It was very very like up to whatever they wanted to do. Like the 90-minute standard's not that. It's not like a built-in thing from back then.
Oh, you would have had a little break, an intermission in between those ones back in the day.
Probably, but it has been pretty cool. Like getting to see stuff like the original Nosferatu.
What did you think of that?
I mean, you know, it's silent movies, so I really, what I took away, I think the best one of those silent films was The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, because you watch that and you're like, okay, I can see exactly where Rob Zombie gets like everything from, but also the way they implied perspective, or the way they implied light and shadow by building their sets. You know, like if you saw it in person, it was much more like a theater set almost than a movie set. You know, like they would build these sets with exaggerated perspective so that it would be very clear to those watching in the cinema that you know was supposed to be a very big hall that went a long way back, you know, but realistically it's very small.
Yeah.
They've just built it to look, you know, to give the illusion of depth, but it's not quite there by today's standards. But you can see how people watching it on a, you know, who have probably never seen a movie before, would see that and get that from it. Or that, you know, like I said, the painting of, you know, shadow, the way they do the paint job to imply light and shade, or light and shadow on things was also very interesting. So it's worth watching I think some of those older ones to get an understanding of how they inspired what came after.
Oh, fuck yeah. Because I thought Nosferatu was fucking... For what it was, and obviously the way it was filmed back then, fuck, it would have been scary. Like, it was...
Like, man, you watch... Even watching those classic... those classic horror ones like that, those old silent pictures. You watch that, and then you watch something like Psycho from the 60s, and you can see how they got from those silent films to what Hitchcock was doing. You can see the through line.
Yeah.
And that's even myself, who's not particularly educated about being analytical about cinema. So if it's,
if it's that noticeable to you...
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's probably a ton of other shit there that I'm not even seeing or not even aware of when I'm watching it. But it's an exercise that I definitely think I need to get back into, because it's just, like I said, there's just so many of these movies that are they're part of the cultural consciousness that I think a lot of people haven't seen them. They just know more. They know them more through references from other stuff.
Well, Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin illusions. Never heard of them.
So Charlie Chaplin's like...
I know Charlie Chaplin was. I've never heard of Buster Keaton. Oh, fuck, Charlie Chaplin's the only one that entered a Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest and came second.
Yeah.
I actually seen one. I can't remember. I've seen one Charlie Chaplin movie.
So, yeah, I mean, Buster Keaton was same kind of stuff, basically.
Okay.
As, a lot of that sort of silent slapstick comedy. And you know what's crazy too? Like, you see a lot of obviously you see these actors that, to us, they've always been old actors, right? Like someone like Michael Caine. Who's the movies that have come out in our time have only ever been he's always been old in those, right?
Yeah.
Movies that come out in our time. You watch old movies with him in it, you're like, God damn, he was a handsome fucking dude.
Fucking oath he was.
Like, he would have been crushing that pussy. Like, the amount of
Oh, do you know? Who's...
Or you see like a young Orson Welles, or these actors that we've mostly seen as old. You see them young, and you're just like, righto, okay, yeah, like.
Have you seen that guy that's doing he's got that new show on Netflix, and he does the interviews with all the celebrities, and he used to do the Tonight Show back in the day. Jay Leno? Not Jay Leno, not the big chin guy, the old skinny guy.
Oh, David Letterman.
David Letterman. Yeah, he's doing it.
Got like a big bushy beard now.
Yeah. There's a thing where he's going, like, they talk a bit about himself, and he's talking about where he used to do, like, where he started off doing comedy and shit like that. And they showed one of his old first stand-up things, and he's fucking got his shirt unbuttoned, he's got the... And I'm looking at this guy's this guy would have been, same thing, just absolutely crushing chicks left, right and centre back in the day. And he's like one of the most respectable talk show hosts, retired, and now has been paid by Netflix to David Letterman. There you go. Yeah, that's the one, Letterman. And yeah, he's fucking, mate, he's killed it. He's just killed it. But all I ever knew him was the old talk show host.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, yeah, he's just fucking and a funny fucking dude to boot. Oh, alright, I'll let you go, man. I've got to wrap it up there. I'm getting in trouble for being too loud.
No dramas, man.
Well, I'm going to end the stream. I want to talk to you for a second after.
Yeah, man, no worries.
Alright, Ivan, thank you so much. I'll keep in contact with you through the week. Brittany, thank you so much for joining in on the chat. Thank you, Seraph, for joining in as well. Jumping on and coming to say hello. You guys are all absolute fucking champions. I'll be back next Friday. You know it. 8:30, 9 o'clock, and we're going to kill it. I'll probably be kicking over on Twitch if you want to watch me after this. After I finish speaking to Sarah in about an hour. All right, peace out, homies. I love yous.